Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. Looks like we have one person. So whoever's there right now in chat, please say hello. This is Martin with My IELTS Tutor, the premium online IELTS training center. And when I say premium, I mean we offer a service that you can't find anywhere else, especially in a brick and mortar type of institute where you are in a room, in a classroom with 20 to 30 other students. So again, welcome. Today we're going to talk about phrasal verbs. And so we're just kind of waiting for people to show up before we fully get started. So last week I actually did this this lecture, but I had a big technical difficulty. So today we're doing it again. And so but do watch us regularly. I'm here every Wednesday at 5 o'clock Indian Standard Time. I talk about primarily IELTS speaking, and I have a number of videos here on YouTube. So be sure to follow us here on YouTube. Also follow us here, follow us on Instagram. And if you want to know more about what My IELTS Tutor offers, which I will go into later at the end of this presentation, do click on the button below. You can also follow us on Facebook too. Hello, Kushpreet. Nice to see you. We got another person here. Say hello, other person. It's nice to have you join us. So we're going to talk about phrasal verbs, describe them and their importance for in your vocabulary, particularly for IELTS speaking. So pay attention. They're important, and hopefully we can learn some things. So, all right. So we got some more people. Those who are joining us, say hello so I know who you are. How are you, Kushpreet? So, so we're still waiting for a couple more people, some more people to join us, but why don't we get started? Okay. If you guys have questions who are in chat, do post your questions. I will try to answer them as I go. Please try to, it's nice to hear that, Kushpreet. Please try to keep your questions about phrasal verbs, but I will try to tackle other questions later at the end. Kind of the last 5 minutes, I will try to answer some questions. I'm doing fine, thank you, Kushpreet. Very happy to be here with you guys. All right, so let's get started. All right, so phrasal verbs, what are they? Well, these are verbs, but they're in the form of a phrase. And the phrase always has a root verb. So, you know, the phrase acts like a verb, but it indicates some type of action. And it always consists of a basic verb plus one or more words. So, but what it does is really create a new verb with a different meaning from the basic verb. So, for example, we have look. Look means to look, to see, okay? But we have the phrasal verb look up, and that means to look upwards, like that. So look up. All right, don't look down. That's another phrasal verb, by the way. So, so that's what phrasal verbs are. They are a phrase that consists of a basic verb, but it has a different meaning than the basic verb. Okay. Now, why do we want to use phrasal verbs? That's a very important question. So, primarily, we use them. Native speakers use them all the time. We've used them. It's very common that we use them because they're an important part of informal speech. And this is important because in IELTS speaking, you know, it's very informal. the conversation's informal. However, of course, you don't want to use slang in certain colloquialisms, which are not used anywhere else in the world, but maybe in your local area or country. But phrasal verbs are very common, and they're used throughout the world by native speakers. So they have very common meanings. And so native speakers use them all the time in their informal speech. And so it's really a good idea to use them during the test. And it's okay to use them in your, for the test as well, because they make your speech more natural. And that's one thing that the examiners are looking at, is how natural your speech is. And they're not looking at how natural your speech is in terms of in terms of pronunciation, in that criteria, but also how natural your speech is in terms of language use, and that's lexical resources and vocabulary. Now, I've talked about other types of vocabulary that you should study, such as collocations and topic-wise vocabulary, and I have done videos on that I really recommend that you watch. They're here on YouTube, but also focus on phrasal verbs as well, because these are an important part of vocabulary, especially informal vocabulary, informal speech. And I really think if you use these will increase your score to 7 and above, as well as the other ones that I talked about, such as collocations. You need to include those. Collocations, idioms, phrasal verbs. In order to score 7 above, you need to be using those type of vocabulary in order to, like I said, 7 and above. And you need to be using those fairly accurately. So that's why I also recommend that you learn phrasal verbs. Now, moving along, phrasal verbs are essential for fluency. They really help with your fluency. And the benefits is, first of all, when you learn phrasal verbs, you will understand English conversations better. They'll make it easier to understand what two native speakers are talking about. So, and this is important in terms of, say, IELTS listening. In IELTS listening, you will have conversations, and these people will be using phrasal verbs. Excuse me one moment. Okay, we just had a power outage, so the lights dimmed, and there's really not much I can do about it, so I apologize for that. But I think, can you guys see me clearly? Kushpreet, can you see me clearly? Can you see the screen clearly? Please respond. Can anyone else see the screen clearly? According to my screen, my screen, I'm pretty much visible. So I think I can go ahead and do this. So again, I apologize. This is a common thing that happens here in India. The power goes out. Okay. All right, great. Thank you, Kushpreet. So let's continue. Okay, so as I was saying, the benefits of phrasal verbs, you'll understand English conversations easier, and this will be really helpful in listening, because you will have two conversations that you will have to listen to, and the speakers are very likely to use phrasal verbs. And then when you speak phrasal verbs, your speech will be more natural. And then you can learn how English is truly spoken between two or more people. So, and like I said, native speakers use phrasal verbs all the time in their speech. And in certain cases, we do use them in our writing. All right, so moving on. Now, the number one tip for using phrasal verbs is and this goes for any new vocabulary that you learn, whether it's a collocation, an idiom, a more advanced word. You only want to use them when you're comfortable and confident in their use. When you know the meaning, the precise meaning, and can use it precisely, and use it in the right context, okay? So you really want to make sure that you use the words that you're comfortable and confident in using. Now, there's literally hundreds, if not maybe thousands, at least hundreds of phrasal verbs to learn. I don't expect you to learn all of them at once, or because it's going to take time, but use the words that you have, the phrasal verbs that you have mastered, okay? Practice them, use them all the time, but use the ones that you have mastered. If you're not confident in using a phrasal verb, don't use it. Same thing goes with any other type of vocabulary. Now, moving on, why do we use phrasal verbs? Like I said, they make your speech more natural. And again, I also mentioned this too. You're expected to use a wide variety of vocabulary, collocations, idioms, more advanced vocabulary, and phrasal verbs. So do use these. And like I said, using all of these can bring up your score in lexical resources, which is vocabulary, to 7 and above. So really do use those. Okay, now, how do you learn phrasal verbs? Because that's a good question. How would you learn phrasal verbs? Now, you want to make phrasal verbs part of your daily vocabulary routine. So what I suggest is you pick 10 phrasal verbs to study and practice until you master them. Now, there's another thing you can do. A lot of phrasal verbs are focused on one particular basic verb, such as look. Now, as you can see here, I have a number of phrasal verbs based on the verb look. So what you can do is study a group of phrasal verbs that are focused on that one basic verb. And you might be able to learn phrasal verbs quicker that way too. So for look, we have these type of phrasal verbs: look up, look down, look around, look down on someone, look back on something. These all have different meanings. So for instance, look up obviously means look upwards. Look down looks down. Look around means look around your surroundings. Look after someone means to care for someone, tend to someone, provide care to that person. Look for something. If you have ever lost something, for instance, a couple of weeks ago, I lost my car key. So I was looking for my key, my car key. That took me about an hour to do. So then looking down on someone, that's not a good thing. We don't want to look down on someone because we're kind of looking, when we look down on someone, we consider that person to be beneath us. And then look back on something. That means we're looking back on something in the past and kind of thinking about something that happened in the past. So that's what that means. Now, but again, learning phrasal verbs, you want to pick 10 or more, no more than 10 phrasal verbs to study and practice, or learn them as a group based on a particular verb. Now, there are many resources for learning phrasal verbs. For instance, you can find many websites for learning them. All you need to do is Google phrasal verbs. That's all you need to do, and it'll take you to literally hundreds of sites to learn these, and pretty much all of them are free. So, and then you can find mobile app dictionaries for phrasal verbs as well. And so there are resources, there are free resources that you can use to learn this type of vocabulary. Okay, now some examples of phrasal verbs. We'll go off, so now I'm going to give you some examples of phrasal verbs. So we have check off. This means to make or a mark next to something written on paper. So check off the names on the list of people who attended. Read aloud, read off. So at the beginning of a class, the instructor reads off the names from his roll sheet. Pass out. Now, here in India, pass out means to graduate, but that's actually not correct. Pass out really means, the phrasal verb pass out really means to fall on, to become unconscious. Another word for that would be faint, F-A-I-N-T. So to pass out, to become unconscious. Carry on means to continue doing something such as work or studies. Run over. This means to read through or practice something quickly. So I was running through this PPT before I started this session. Keep to. Keep to means to persist in something or to continue with something. So keeping to his studies, he was able to score 95%. Check back means to return to see if something is okay. So earlier today, I checked back with a coworker to see if she was doing okay with her work, for example. Come back. And this is what I want you guys to do on a weekly basis. Come back and join me. So do come back and join me for these live sessions because I really enjoy having you here. Okay, now some more examples we have come across. Now this means to discover by accident or abruptly. So I came across an injured dog on the road the other day. I took it and then I took it to the vet. Keep in means to not allow someone or something to go out. So if I had a cat, I would keep it in so it doesn't go outside. Hold on means to wait, especially while on the phone. Okay. Then there's break into. Breaking into means to interrupt a conversation or to enter a building by breaking through a door or window. Then give forth. This means to emit or release something. So to emit or to release something. Then there's bring back, to go and fetch something. So maybe your mother, when you were younger, told you, go to the store and bring back some bread and butter, for example. Now I have some more. Look back. Look back, again, means to think about the past, think about something from the past. Let down, to disappoint someone. Do over, to repeat something. Take up, to begin something. Something like a hobby. He took up painting as a hobby. Get around. This means to travel about, usually to different places. Go along. This usually means to agree. She went along with him on his statement of whatever he said, for example. Back out. This means to withdraw from an agreement. So that's it for today. Now, that's just a drop in the bucket. That's a good idiom for you guys, a drop in the bucket. That's a drop in the bucket of the phrasal verbs, the number of phrasal verbs that you will find. And these are just some of the most common that I've given you. I do encourage you guys to study these. These are really important aspects of your vocabulary. Does anyone have any questions? If you have questions, now is a good time to ask. So as I was saying, do study phrasal verbs. You can find these online on many websites. You can find mobile app dictionaries as well. But phrasal verbs are not the only ones you should be studying, only vocabulary you should be studying. You should be studying collocations, idioms, and you're very welcome, Khushpreet. Idioms, topic-wise vocabulary as well. IELTS talks a lot about different topics in general questions in the cue card. And so if you learn topic-wise vocabulary, that's about different topics such as the environment or fashion, music, and such, you will really enrich your vocabulary and have lots of things to talk about. And I have done videos on these subjects in the past, and really do encourage you guys to watch those videos. They're here on YouTube. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us here on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook. And so now, in Kush, I think I already mentioned, you're welcome, Khushpreet. I think I said that. And if you want to know more about my IELTS tutor, do click on the link below. And one of our representatives will get back in touch with you as soon as possible. Now, let me talk about my IELTS tutor. Now, I mentioned it is the premium service, online IELTS training service. And this is because we do a lot for our students. First of all, rather than in a traditional institute where you are sitting in a classroom with lots of other students, you're getting more individualized attention. More individualized attention. We have individual live sessions such as speaking. We have writing sessions, small group writing sessions, reading and listening sessions where we talk about all the different strategies, how to answer different questions, how to handle different questions for speaking, how to structure speaking. Same thing for writing as well. And in this case, we have very small groups. In this way, everyone gets to ask their questions. And so we're able to do that. And we're able to ensure that you get the attention that you need to succeed. And so these are all the things that we offer for our students. As I said, we give one-to-one speaking sessions, ebooks, PDFs, tips and strategies, live sessions. And this is one of those live sessions. Vocabulary building tools. Again, this is another vocabulary building tool. We have 8-man reading strategy and improving accuracy. And then more importantly, we have a customized study plan that's made up for you, okay? We develop a customized plan that is suited for you, for each individual. So this means that we don't cookie cutter anything, and that's a good idiom for you, cookie cutter, meaning putting everything all in one thing and just giving it to people. We tailor everything to match your needs and your requirements. And so that's what we do. Now, these are the primary tutors, myself, Nana Chabra and Ms. Amita. Together we have over 30 years of experience teaching IELTS, and we have taught literally thousands of students and helped them achieve their goals with IELTS. And so here are some of our recent results from our students. And so we always shoot for the highest score possible for our students. We always try to encourage our students to go 8+ bands. as high as we can go. And so we're committed to that. We are going to do everything we can to help you achieve that goal, your goals. And so because of this, this means that your bands are our responsibility. That's right. Your bands are our responsibility. Hello, Gurpreet. Sorry I missed you at the tail end of our talk, but it's nice to see you here. So as I said, your bands are our responsibility because we are committed to your success. So that's it for today. I want to thank you for joining me. It's been a great time. If you want to do follow us here on YouTube and on Instagram, also Facebook. Be sure to click on the link below to learn more about my IELTS Tutor and IELTS. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.